This can't wait till Wednesday. Hey, y'all, gravity. And you know above ground living. Hope you having a fantastic Monday, and hope you did have a fantastic Monday. Hope you stay warm. Hope you stay safe. Hope you stay cool and you stay safe. You know, there's different climates around. I'm sorry, this can't wait. I was gonna do this reaction on Wednesday, but no, we gotta do it tonight because I just finished watching some of it and whoop, I'm telling y'all about these grifters. They can be on their channel. It's just them and the camera and their microphone. They can say some of the most outlandish things to ever pull up crappy research, and it seems good to you. But then when they gotta go outside and stand on you, that's when you're gonna see the intelligence. Because it's cool you can go out in front of people and just keep regurgitating the same stats and talking points. You forget these people you debate, they also have the same stats and talking points and a differing opinion. Which one are the people going to receive? We're gonna find out because your girl right here, she's fixing to become the new Tamika Mallory, get in front of some feminists and look like a slack fool. And we all know where Tamika Mallory is. And if you could find her, I give you $10. But anyway, like I said, Candace Owens is doing a new conservative grift by going on Jubilee. Charlie Cupp did it, Jordan Peterson did it, and got wrecked by Christians. That was hilarious. And atheists. And now Candace Owens went to go debate feminists. But you know her crowd ain't gonna bring this up. But now that they hate her, a lot of them, especially MAGA, when they find out this clip and this video exists, woo! And don't worry, Wednesday we got another one coming because she went to go debate Blair White, and Blair White cleared her. So this is gonna be a fun 3 days. But let's begin tonight. Let's let the feminists get at her because she always has something to say about the feminists, especially the third or fourth wave ones, which we told y'all on this channel for days. But let's see.
They want flexible working hours and flexible working conditions like you have. And I think we should all advocate for that. It's not one or the other, but when you sit here and you go, you'll be more fulfilled doing this and spend all your time doing that. We would love for you to leave the public eye and go focus on what makes you fulfilled.
Woo-wee! Now, hang on. How do you, Candace Owens, you Caribbean. Ain't no way in the world you gonna listen to Latino do that to you. Ain't no way in the world. How did you allow this? But then again, you're the same chick who in her baby shower photo got pushed to the back for white women. So you might as well let that happen. I'm telling you, give it a couple years, she will be having natural hair again. You watch what I said.
Hi, my name is Candace Owens. I am a podcaster, a mother, a wife, and also the author of the upcoming book, Make Him a Sandwich. Today I am.
Make him a sandwich. Okay, you forgot grifter, but I understand why. And notice, I want y'all to hear the introduction she gave herself, and I want to see who listened and heard what she didn't say.
And go focus on what makes you fulfilled. Hi, my name is Candace Owens. I am a podcaster, a mother, a wife, and also the author of the upcoming book, Make Him a Sandwich. And today I am.
What didn't you hear her call herself in that clip? I tell you, the rebrand, she think nobody picks up on it. A lot of people picked up on it. Nope, not Christian, not black. Because we all can obviously see that she's not black because she's Caribbean, but for all intents and purposes, this is somewhat mainstream. We'll let her slide with black. Not those three things, not those three adjectives. Thank you, Reparations Nation. Conservative. They didn't say that. They're gonna say, "Oh, she said mother and wife. That's conservative." Wrong, because there's a lot of liberal mothers and wives. She didn't say she was a conservative. Watch, she's going to grift to the middle. You watch what I tell you.
Surrounded by 20 feminists. My first claim is that the sexual revolution has devalued women and made them infinitely less happy.
Who wants to smoke? Wait a minute. How is this a feminist and I see dudes? Oh, this is gonna be fun. Fam. This shocked me when I first saw it. I was like, why are there dudes here? But okay, fine. If you can't hear, that's your problem. Flush the toilet. African.
So my question for you is, statistics show that 60% of women who are murdered by their intimate
No, we're not even gonna
partners
remember it.
that they're
Fuck you,
close
Lily.
relationships with. That's according to the UN from 2023. Yeah. So how is it that women are so valued, quote, unquote, in the home, and yet that's the place where they're at the most danger? Okay, so I'm not sure what that has to do with sexual.
What? Huh? Man, women are not. Well, okay, I get it. We're gonna do the intro bullshit. Okay. Man, I don't know where you've been, but most men don't put their wives in danger, except for orgasms. But y'all gotta stop with these quotes, boy. I see why you're single, man. Because every Negro and white boy and Hispanic and Jackie Chan that you looking for, you think gonna beat your ass, and that's a problem. That might mean you came out of home where your daddy was yelling at your mama or probably beat her ass. You can't bring that on yourself.
Revolution. Right, the sexual revolution. Like the sexual revolution. I'm happy to answer it. I'm just saying that if you brought in that statistic, you are more likely in general just to be murdered by somebody you know. So of course, men are much less likely to be murdered by that's not true. Yeah, I'm sure because men are less likely to be murdered by women. That's typically that's me. I'm still not sure how it correlates to whether or not sexual revolution increased women's ability to leave the house, women's ability to control their own reproductive capabilities, women's ability to, control their own capacity within the workforce in regards to their own sexual capacity. So it is the
What? What is she talking about? Man, y'all literally weaponize sexuality. Oh, you feminists ain't gonna like me tonight. Well, how did y'all let Me Too get as hot as it did? Y'all weaponize sexuality. That's literally what y'all did. Hmm. Okay.
the very fact that the sexual revolution happened that made our access to the workplace much more, or just the public sphere in general, much more easy. So
it's not easy for y'all. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Man, they don't even trust y'all. What are you talking about? Tell you young feminists, y'all in for a wake up call very soon. You do realize you third, fourth, and now you fifth wave feminists make it harder for women to move up in this world, right? There's a reason. I hope y'all understand. You're part of the reason why Trump and them stay talking about DEI and they always lump y'all into it. That's your fault. I'm not saying you're not supposed to defend women. There's a certain balance you have to strike though. You have to work with men. We saw what happened in Australia when that bakery talking about they gonna charge men a tax for eating there. They closed. We saw the same thing in the gym in UK. The gym closed. They even tried it over here. It doesn't work. Y'all gotta stop doing it. You're blocking blessings that you don't even know are there. I tell you, these kids don't even know the stats. I have to actually agree with the cone. That's correct. But y'all fine. Blame men. Let's go.
we didn't move on to that check. The point being that it's not exactly a study statistic to say that people are in relationships, period, whether those relationships are homosexual or like what you try to explain that story. I don't think it does. And I think you're having a different debate right now. But yes, absolutely, it makes perfect sense that you are more likely in general when you are in a relationship because people are driven by anger by people that they know, whether or not we're talking about boyfriend and girlfriend, girlfriend and girlfriends, husband and a wife, a husband and a husband or a wife and a wife. Yes, of course, the instances of domestic violence are going to take place when you're inside of a home. But the sexual
Look who it is.
Instances of domestic violence are going to take place when you're inside of a home.
It's the chick that cleared Ben Shapiro, who had the white boyfriend. She back. Here we go. I started this year on Jubilee payroll. But ain't nothing wrong with that. LA is expensive.
But the sexual revolution, encouraging women to give up their goods for free, which is what I'm speaking about, and encouraging men not to marry these women or to have long-term relationships, what I'm saying is it is a direct contributor to their unhappiness because women are giving up their goods for free and women are now entering the workplace and that does not actually make them happy. Okay, pause. Sorry, we voted out by the majority.
Oh wow. So they didn't even like what the advocate was saying. Get some. Where did she get that Daily News scared from, pants from? Is that pants? No, that's pants. Where did she get that from? Damn, Ellie, y'all need to figure out what y'all style of dress is. Damn, nobody gonna clap for her? That's crazy. Lord. Oh Lord.
How are you?
Oh my God. This should be fun. Look at this one. This should be fun. She got kind of like the old school Japanese mohawk. I want to be a biker, but I got tits. This gonna be fun. I already know. Let's go.
I'm Candace. Nice to meet you.
Shout out to Lori Beth Denberg's little sister. Shout out to her.
Nice to meet you. It's very interesting to hear about gender binary. It's how do we place value on human beings in general? And so when we think about placing value on power, right? So I think this is like the Victorian era. You have this dominant group of people coming from white supremacy, deciding who gets to have a proper status in the world. And so that is already like taking human beings and devaluing them. And so what the sexual revolution did was to help people seek out empowerment, to increase value, no matter the gender. So when it comes to sexual revolution, let's look at one contribution is sex education. I'm actually an educator. I teach sociology and LGBT studies. And I have absolutely seen the positive outcome of the sexual revolution and sex education and see people empower themselves. And with that comes safety when it comes to decreasing STIs, abuse, sexual assault. Again, people get to empower themselves of all genders. And I know earlier you mentioned about violence amongst lesbians and sapphic community, which I do identify with. And all genders can be subjected to violence. That was the point I was making. So I wasn't sure how the claim was related to what we were talking about, whether that makes people happy or unhappy. Relationships are obviously a ground where there can be violence. I guess I could just wrap it up by saying, like, if we all have access to like sex education through the incredible work of feminists of this sexual.
What about your parents? Mm. Here we go. I bet you this is one of these former conservatives who didn't like the fact that their parents were too strict and all this, and this is the rebellion. I get it. I get it. I get it. And I ain't caping for conservatives. I'm just trying to say this.
Revolution, we are able to gain access to information and skills to create an equitable society demonstrated within our relationship with the people.
Good. If the sound is low, then you should put in some headphones. You hear it. Come on. Let's go.
Are you a believer in the government doing everything that it can to make people happy? So when it comes to
why are you that Candace, red flag. Red flag.
We're grateful for those guys who have fought for us, so we can gain those spaces and create a healthier society. Okay, are you a believer in the government doing everything that it can to make people happy? So when it comes, as someone who teaches in the public sector, I understand the concern when it comes about what is a teacher, what kind of information they're providing to the students. I do believe that we, as a teacher, I should be able to give that sort of information. Again, I teach college students. One of my claims is I believe that we should mandate sex education amongst college students. So yes,
Why? Oh, okay. Okay, fine. Fine. I'm gonna let her have it. But Candace, I love how you asked the question about the government. Okay.
I do want the state, I would like the government to give us those resources so we can implement that curriculum. Okay.
Why don't you fight for it?
Because you're a feminist, I'm assuming. Queer feminist. There's variations, right?
Oh, here we go.
Well, so I heavily believe in queer theory. So, the gender binary that we understand, it comes from colonization. So someone who is mixed race, founded from Mexico, we have the Ushés in Mexico, which is an indigenous tribe. They believe in gender fluidity. And then you have European colonizers coming who dismantle that. Everything that we understand when it comes to gender is a Western lens. So from a queer, you don't even think women exist, I'm guessing. I think everyone should be empowered to figure out their identity and explore.
Oh Lord. Oh no. Okay. Sure.
The language that best describes themselves. So
sure.
Freedom. America, right? America's freedom. And I want to believe in that when it comes to identity. Everyone should have the freedom to decide how they want to identify, as long as they're not causing harm. But that's where we get into the debate, what is harm. So just again, to be clear, go back to explaining.
Sure.
Female happiness. You are saying you do not identify as a female. I identify with all gender expressions, so from masculine to feminine. So I'm just saying, are you just saying as a part of queer theory, or just meaning whether or not women are happier after the sexual revolution? I'm trying to understand, because it seems like everybody's queer theory as opposed to female. I believe all genders benefit from the sexual revolution. But vote out by the majority.
Lord have mercy. How were they happier? If they were happier, you guys wouldn't even be here talking to this coon. You'd be out being happy. It should be fun. Another African on Caribbean crime. This should be fun.
So I do want to get back to what you're saying that women have been devalued, right, by the sexual revolution. This kind of presumes two things. One, that there has no loss of worth, right, for women. So you're saying that women have, as human beings, lost worth. Women who, prior to the sexual revolution, were worth more than women today. I would say that, yes, women have devalued themselves by becoming overtly sexual. That's my place. So, and we also, according to just, and let's not remove this from the other part of the claim, which has made women infinitely less happy. Right. So are you saying, but you're saying that according to you, women have been devalued? Not according to me. According to the time in which.
Why are you stuttering? Don't you start stuttering. You real confident when you talk about black people. Let's get confident when you talk to these feminists. Come on now.
Getting married, how difficult it is for people to find a partner that's willing to commit to them. And I think that's in large part due to the fact that women are offering sex for free, because it was a major component of the sexual revolution was this idea. So women's worth is tied to their sexuality.
When do women offer sex for free? When was this? And how come a lot of us missed it? All right.
It's not tied. Well, absolutely. You're going to be having multiple partners. You are going to be valuing yourself. You're worth less. Yeah. Not as a human being.
Well, be quiet. We just started.
Partnership and productive relationship. Certainly, you're not going to be clamoring to have a relationship with somebody when there's.
Look at this one.
I mean, response to your actions is what defines your work, right?
What?
I would argue that what makes women actually happy is family. So if you're interrupting, so I'm just going to ask you, when women are having sex with multiple partners, it devalues them for men, right? Okay, so, yes, so men define what we work. Well, I would say both of them kind of define one another's work, because I think the ultimate goal for people to be happy is actually family. Okay, so you're saying in all cases, a woman is going to be more fulfilled in regards to family. That's exactly what I'm saying. And this is going to work in all cases. You're saying there's no individual case in which a woman can feel, fulfilled without being tied to other people's. I think.
Well, she's correct. Because Oprah feels fulfilled without a man because she has Yale.
There could be an exceptional case for everything. I think there are exceptional cases, but I think that if we all start trying to be the exception as opposed to recognizing the rule, which is that people in life are more fulfilled when they achieve a family unit and when they have children, women in particular, especially having acquired children, then you're going to end up with a bunch of people who are unhappy because your job cannot replace the feeling of having a family. So what you're saying is we need to look at every individual case and see what is going to fulfill you or what is going to, I guess, essentially predict your happiness more. Because if we look at, for example, the Nordic countries, right? These are countries, I'm talking about Sweden, Denmark, right? These countries tend to be I think in the past 14 years, they've been ranked as the highest in happiness and male satisfaction for women, right?
Right. And what's the underlying, never mind. Because I think there's a key thing she's missing. But I'm going to see if she figures it out.
And they also have been the most open in regards to sexual norms and sexual roles, right? So we also see that there are less rates of STD reported. We see more, and that's also due to comprehensive sex education as opposed to those countries. So we see that and that's a direct result of the sexual revolution, right? So when we're seeing that direct reports of happiness, right, we don't have these same rates in America. In these countries that are more sexually open, why would we see those rates in those countries? So I think you might be referring to this sort of mass-produced study that was a part of a behavioral science study, which said that women were the happiest women in the world were women that were actually unmarried and had careers. Now, okay, well, there was okay, sure, I'm talking about the same thing, which reported happiness, but it could be different. There's tons of studies. The point being is that in 2023, there was this massive scandal where they recognized that a lot of these studies that were being produced, behavioral science, was proven to be completely fraud, and they were unable to reproduce these studies. They also found that the data had been faked. The data that we can look at that I think shows, and you can let me know if you agree with this, women and under the imagination of the feminist umbrella were really unhappy when they were in the home, and then entering the workforce has made women happier.
Well, hey, Arma, the reason why kids are exhausting to you is because you let them kids run all over you. It sounds like you're not establishing boundaries. My old man has 4 kids. He's still kicking around, and he happy. I got a daughter. She's 6. She's precocious, and she understands when to have fun and when it's time to get serious. Stop letting your kids run your house. That's what happened with a lot of these parents nowadays since the 2000s. Y'all want to be your kids' friend instead of being the authoritarian. That's why they don't listen to you. And then they get out in the world and they start getting told no, and they start understanding that life got a lot of consequences they don't know how to handle.
And infinitely feeling more secure about themselves, we could, I think, reasonably expect that there would have been a decrease in suicide rates amongst women.
You would have to go ahead and show how that correlation, right, is going to be a direct cause of women going into the workforce.
Okay, well, how can we measure, then how can you give me a way that we can measure happiness? How can we measure happiness? I would.
Yes, women can decide whatever they want to do with their lives. Just don't get on TV bitching about it when it don't work out. That's all we're saying. Y'all would never let a man make his own choices in life and then his life sucks, according to him, and he goes and rants about it. Y'all will be killing that man in the comments. Telling them to step it up and stop crying. Let's get the same thing for women. Thank you so much.
Would say suicide rates would be a good thing to look at, drug, alcohol consumption would be worse, right?
I can say at this point in society, I don't think everyone's happy. There are a lot of things that we need to reconcile that.
That's what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, y'all need to touch grass.
Why are these things predicted, right? And for example,
Touch grass.
there are a lot of things to look at, right? That tend to predetermine.
Okay, how's that misogynist? How was what I just said misogynist when I told both sides? Live your life. I don't want to hear you bitching when it goes left. How's that misogynist? God, y'all need comprehension skills for it.
Suicide, right? But we can't say, oh, these two things are happening at the same time.
And you sound weak. Bye.
Say that women are committing suicide rates more than they were in the 1950s.
Go let your kids run the house. Hey, your kids just told you to go clean the toilet. Go do that.
But less 20 years, right? So if you're saying we're less valuable now, why wouldn't we be suffering at a higher rate? So is the argument that you're making, so I understand that because women are giving up sex for free, they're not being raped. Every study shows rape is not correlated with just sexual gratification. It is a power structure. So it is about objectifying and abusing women when you rape them, not about whether or not you want sex. What I'm saying is that women are less objectified, so therefore we are being raped less. Okay, so you think that in today's society, because this is pretty wild for me. In the 1950s, you're saying women were more objectified than today in the land of OnlyFans, the Kardashian clan, and women that are essentially putting up their boobs and butts for free on Instagram. You're saying we finally have achieved less objectification, where women can't even get onto an advertising. You can't even advertise a bag without them having to be naked in order for them to get a career as a model. You're saying, oh great, we've achieved actually less objectification. So I'm not trying to suggest that I think that the over-commodification of women's bodies is positive. But what I am saying is that when you're going to the 1950s, that we shouldn't put this glazed look of, oh, it was so happy, we had single income households, we got to stay home. We also
But your mother and father allowed that. That's literally how the ad men back in the days made all their millions. They literally show the suburban housewife as the model that everybody should achieve. She was in the kitchen with the perfect pie, the other one in the windowsill. Kitchen clean, kid running around. Y'all were cool with that. Y'all were cool with the chick during World War II, saying she needs you with the headscarf. Y'all were cool with that. Women have always been objectified. It's a problem now. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it's a problem now because y'all can't control it.
So I had a pill popping problem. We also reviewed as maids, like we were seen as a house appliance far more than worse people. And so when you have that kind of objectification where you are in a subservient position.
Kim West, how does she work a full-time job when she's home and she can stream whenever she wants? How is it a full-time job? It's not full-time. When she was at Daily Wire and them other places, that was a full-time job. Remember? We have a whole bunch of folk online saying that if you just stream online, that's not work. Now, what are y'all telling me now? Streamers is working now. That's what we're doing. Y'all can't even keep your lives straight. Ma'am, okay, Kim, let me help you. Being on YouTube for 2 hours a day is not work. That's not work. Her flying around every couple of days or every couple of weeks doing interviews, or like she did with Piers Morgan, sitting in her house talking for 30 minutes, that's not work. What business does she have? None. People ain't even buying her crappy paraphernalia off her website no more. Where is this work? Where is she outside affecting change? Please tell me. Yes, she only does YouTube. What else is she doing? Go ahead, tell me what else she's doing. Go ahead. Since you follow her around, tell us what else she does. This should be fun. Ma'am, I don't have to be her manager. She says this out of her own mouth. She does a stream for 2 hours a day, tweets bullshit maybe every 8 hours, and may do an appearance like this, which was probably filmed a couple weeks in advance. They just released it now. She was just on Piers Morgan. That's not work. But I asked you again, tell me how she works full time. Since you introduced it, use your thinking cap. Let's go. Tell me how she works full time. Go ahead. The word is accept, not accept. Thank you for those who subscribe. Go ahead. Why don't you ask her why she's doing everything except raise her kids? Why don't you go ask her?
Your second thing.
Nobody says she doesn't want to work. You said she's working full time. I just proved to you she doesn't work full time. Are you going to retract your statement, yes or no?
Okay, then you then brought up, okay, we were at with pill popping. Well, you then have to acknowledge we're actually popping more pills now, right? So we have actually increased our amount of pill popping. Women are having overdoses on opioids, and on top of that, since I think
What do you mean how long? Probably took her 2 hours, maybe three if they edited stuff out of it. That's not work. Damn. Let me guess, you think the people that go on these news sites and they talk for like 5 to 15 minutes, you think that's full-time work? Damn. Y'all don't even know what work is.
1999, by rate, we are increasing our opioid use compared to men. So women are not.
Oh man, great. She worked for 3 hours. She could have been with her kids. Great. Fuck her. I want you to answer the question you posed. How is she working full time? Why does she have to work full time? Her husband's rich. Y'all made her rich. Why should she work full time? She makes money sleeping. Why should she work full time? Besides, the nanny raises the kids, not her.
Popping pills less because we're going into the workforce. That's actually not true at all either. And we're also, like I said, consuming alcohol more and binge drinking more than we did in the 1950s, which is why I was trying to get her to say we need to look at actually a reasonable, give me any reasonable metric of how we can define happiness. It's hard, right? Are you happy? Yes or no?
Okay, Kim, great. Here we go. You want to know why she wants to work? Because she's a feminist. I was going to save that little tidbit for the last of this broadcast, but since you want to bring it up now, you basically have a feminist debating 20 feminists. All this crap she's talking about family and all that, that's all grift. All this right here, this is all an act. She don't believe nothing she's saying. This right here is a product of a 17-day engagement. If you know, you know.
But wait, we're actually avoiding what my original point was about rating the signifier. Okay, pause. You've been voted up.
Okay. G-Craft, why does Nancy Pelosi work? Because it's called power. By the way, screenshot. Why it look like Candace just ate something real fast? And they had to edit that out, but they did it badly. And she looked like she wanted to go to sleep. But yes, that's why Nancy Pelosi keeps working, because she wants power. Oh, Carter! Carter! I love it when they catch it. Yes, ma'am. See, even a white woman does her, and Candace said, nah. Even she picked up on it. She's like, you a whole feminist yourself.
I mean, every time you get on your podcast, every time you put in check, you're practicing feminism, right? That's what it is. Actually, how feminism, yeah, we don't to say that. People keep saying that. People say that, but it's just research shows that you haven't done the research, you can understand where the back. Or you don't know history. Yeah, that's what I'm saying about you, because it means that you don't understand that a bunch of government officials in the CIA funded the feminist movement. So
And
your hatred.
and they fell for it, just like you fell for it, Miss Second Wave. And the second wave started third wave. You fell for it too, Miss Red Pill Black. We remember those Facebook posts you used to make. Now you deleted them. You were way being a feminist. She thinks she's slick. Mm.
So my question is it bad that they want to just have men wanting women to go into the workforce, the government, which had a lot of men that was being concerned because of World War II occurred and we had to go to the factories?
No, that was after, man.
It's not what they're saying at all. So let me tell you what I'm saying.
Woo! Where Black?
Gloria Steinem is considered to be a feminist icon, right? Because she led these protests. She also had a bunch of music festivals. She got students involved. It is just a fact that Gloria Steinem was funded by the CIA. Okay, the CIA, the male-dominated CIA of the 50s and the 60s, funded those movements. So what do you think was the explicit aim? Do you think it was because the government really wanted you to be more free that they wanted to encourage women to act? Well, actually, I couldn't speak on behalf of the government. You know what I mean? And what their intention was. I don't know history, and I think it's pretty important if you're going to watch an exam of history that you learn a piece of history and then question as you keep bringing up men. And I think it's funny because we should talk about men more. Like you brought up suicide, they're 4 times more likely to kill themselves, which is why. And while women were twice more often on antidepressants, but that's because we go out and do what we need to keep coping. And we need to focus on men and the patriarchy because it's actually oppressed them just as much as women now emotionally.
So you need pills to cope. Not therapy, none of that. Not figuring out what the problem is. You take antidepressants. Huh?
Even measure success the same. But it will
Huh?
measure success the same.
So whoa. So why would if you just said what you just said, Candace, why did you say earlier that women get more fulfillment being with a family? If you're not gonna say that men and women want 2 different things. I keep telling you that I watch and listen to when they talk. It sounds like she's saying you gotta manipulate people into families. That's what it sounds like. And again, I go back 17-day engagement. If you know, you know.
Tell me how the women who are working and getting educated, why are they faring off better in all of the? I am telling you that I do not believe they are faring off better in all these things. I am telling you that we are looking at totally opposite statistics. So you're sitting here telling me that statistics show that women who are working are producing better children. I'm saying that women who are going to the two-family home where the mother stays at home are faring off better than the children who are being raised in an environment where the women are working with both of the parents.
That's a damn. God damn. Oh man. Hey Candace, do you know how many of us millennials grew up with both parents working and most of us fared out well, including your dumbass? According to your book Blackout. This is also the same chick who gonna make a comment later about welfare. Yet her people were on welfare. She said, okay.
So why don't you stay at home? I should get to work from home. That's the idea. So you talk about all the nannies you hire, and so I hard to find everybody talks about all of the nannies I hire. You have I spoke about how difficult it was to find a babysitter who knew how to cook a meal. And that's because you don't need a babysitter. You can retire right now and people respond to you.
They go Priscilla, boy. We getting there. We getting there. But Candace, can you cook? That's what we want to know. Again, you get to work from home. You could put something in a crock pot. I know it's summertime and people don't like using a crock pot, but you can put meals in a crock pot. You can put meals in an Instant Pot. You could smoke some meat outside while you running around with the kids and getting the nanny off of George. And then doing 2 hour bullshit podcast. Where you have 7 ads in it. And you all can sit down and look like a 90s sitcom, y'all all sitting at the table. Including the nanny that y'all gotta keep kicking under the table because they playing footsie with George. So that's cap what you just said. And so what happened when you have a nanny around? You try to go cuss out white women in the airport and then they cuss you out asking you a black person. And you get to start using the F words like you're supposed to be impressive.
And everybody you're speaking, you don't want to respond to you, and you don't want to. You want to be working, which is great. But you're telling me what I want now, and then accusing me of telling you, you don't want to work. You're just like conditions. You said so many words that you just what you're trying to do here, like your argument style. And they say so much, and now they're gonna work, and then walk away and feel like I want to, and we're not having a conversation because you've now let me responsible for other points. Okay. What I am saying to you, the first answer what you just said is a lie. What I spoke to about on the weekends is that it's been increasingly difficult to find a 25-year-old who even knows how to make box macaroni and cheese, right? And that's crazy. That's in large part due to feminism.
That does not. Oh Lord. Oh man. Now that we're gonna blame feminism for the chicks not know how to cook. When you have that has nothing to do with feminism. That has everything to do with society. I can actually separate feminism out of this. That's y'all live in an act world. Everything has an act. If that was the case, how come there's so many creators online making millions of dollars, putting up videos on how to make memes? Maybe the people you dealing with in Green Hills, in Tennessee, they don't know how to make box macaroni and cheese. I don't even know why you would try to hire somebody that knows how to make box macaroni and cheese. Oh, she like that soupy mac and cheese. That's nasty. She like powdered cheese. Ain't that something? That is nasty. It's diabolical.
They don't even. focus. Women are not focused, and there's this idea that women shouldn't be cooking, like there's something fundamentally wrong with women learning how to cook. You know what I mean? As much time with your children as you possibly can, because that's the way to get the most down. No, and that's what I'm trying to say. I am speaking to you as God.
What do you mean, no?
Let somebody
Whoa.
get it. I did.
Whoa. What do you mean she not? Candace, how you lying to say you don't spend enough time with your kids? You just told somebody 3 people ago that you home with your kids every morning. So, and you home with them at night. How are y'all gonna get away with these lies? She traveling to London all the goddamn time with the kids. What do you mean? I don't understand. Wrong, ma'am. I have to actually agree with the coon on that. There are more men running. And you females, which have been born out the last 3 elections, y'all don't want to vote for no female. I'm just saying. Y'all didn't vote for Hillary. You made sure that Kamala Harris didn't get the DNC nomination in 2020. And you didn't vote for her this time. Y'all don't like females. Y'all loving the fact that Mac is turning on females right now. The biggest voices talking about, oh, they're a traitor, are women. It's literally there. But, you know.
The average reading comprehension of people in the United States is 6th grade. So we're not dealing with educated people. Lack of education is the cause of what we see in the world. And if we educate better, because the nation can rise no higher than this woman. And if she reads now in the 6th grade level, popping out a lot of kids, you know, the youngest people in the world pop out the most kids. So if we have those people, no course they're going to their interest in something in society that makes sense.
So why aren't you helping? You worried about the patriarchy so much. Y'all need to help. Stay off social media. Stay off the reality shows. Go help them. Shouldn't be that hard. I'm just saying. Where are all these book clubs that y'all were having during the scandemic? Where are they? Y'all ain't having no more book clubs. It's all about Love Island and all that bullshit. So miss me. I tell you she's a scam artist, but y'all like her. All right.
So that's why you think Kamala wants to say well, you're talking about it's but we had an opportunity. We had a male running, we had a female running, and we actually showed that Trump increased the amount of women who voted for him, right? So I'm asking you, do you believe that the reason that happened was because women became less educated during that time? They always less educated. Did you know that that still says?
Wait a minute. Whoa. Is Priscilla, wait a minute, is Priscilla admitting that stat that they love to run around with, that black women were the most educated people in America, and she finally admitted that stat was bullshit. It was the most enrolled, and they were the most educated among black people. Which is it? Is it that women are smart, or the stats say they're smart? And again, I asked, if you're going to tell us that women only read at a 6th grade level on average, which I think is a lot, but you know, we'll believe her stat. Why aren't you helping them raise that up? I'm going to ask that again. And don't tell me it's the patriarchy holding you back, because y'all can easily read the newspapers together.
There's so much work that feminism has done for women that to say that it benefits men more, I don't think is an accurate statement. For example, Title IX has made it very possible for women to go to college, 600% more so, right? And I think that that is a huge benefit that we can credit to the feminist movement. So I understand your point though of trying to say that like sex work is harmful for women and more beneficial for men because they're benefiting from it the most, but at the same time, if you think they're also suffering from it, does that not contradict your point? Yeah, so I disagree on the fact that when we do agree that more women are going to college, more women than men are graduating with college degrees, and despite that, people are.
Watch this. Hey, that slaps. Maybe you should be here Thursday when I go in on Nick Fuentes and Dinesh D'Souza on that dumbass debate that they're having right now. I'll go make some money off that content too.
Saying that we still live under patriarchy. Women are free to start their own companies. Women are free to pay women whatever they want to pay. Women could hire, and in some cases do hire all women. And so I don't really understand, which wasn't your argument to be fair, the idea that even with all of that freedom, women are still not able to achieve what men are able to achieve. I think college education actually has increased women's stress. And I'm talking about in terms of how expensive it is. And I know you're gonna then say, well, this is.
I love how she said that, but she dropped out. I love how she said that. Mm. The reason why women are stressed is because they're not balancing. That's the reason. It has nothing to do with their education. We actually like smart females over here. You gotta balance it out. And that includes your attitude.
Should that be other than with goalposting? I'm guessing here. No, I mean, but like, the college should be free, everything should be free, anything. Well, I think we just need more free stuff, and obviously nothing's free, we're just gonna add stuff. If I could interject for a second, I think the issue that we keep coming back to is that you believe that women would be happiest in the home where they don't have to work. And I think most people in general probably wouldn't like wanna work anyways. But I think the main issue that we keep avoiding is that this is not an issue created by feminism. This is an issue created by capitalism. Yeah, so I've heard this argument that it's an issue created by capitalism, but you don't agree. You think feminism is the greater issue than the system. I think that now the issue more money to live. Well, we have to spend more money to live, right? I think in large part because feminists got duped by the government, and I think we just keep further enslaving ourselves to the government. I'm not a.
So basically, you're saying by what you're saying, capitalism fuels feminism, because you just said that the CIA earlier. She said CIA paid for the feminist groups to go outside, so that was capitalism. So how could feminism be the major problem if it's capitalism? The Hispanic or maybe Asian was correct on that. It's capitalism, which is unbalanced, right? Just like when you were talking about OnlyFans, that's capitalism, that's not feminism. That's the benefits of free markets, man. Candace don't even realize she's arguing against it. Funny how that works.
Jubilees and big government. I used to be a nurse. So you just don't know the situations. You don't know how life is going to turn out. It's going to be ups and downs. But no, I didn't want to do it. But in my situation and things that I went through, it's something that it just. But I'm actually really glad that you said no, I didn't want to do it, and you were put in a situation where you.
Man, they took it out of it. Hella quick, boy.
And I think the problem that I find with feminism is that it's tremendously it's a dishonest movement. All right, guys.
Bye bye. Chill, follow the chair.
Catherine, Candace. You wrote a book about that we're going to biology, and that biology is what we should organize society on based on like what skills. I can restate what I said. There was a book, and the argument that's being made is that you can't override, you can't outthink your biology is the easiest way to say it. So feminism, I would say, is a movement where they are trying to outthink biology, meaning that all we have to do is this, and that, and then magically we're gonna be transformed. That desire within us to want to start a family is just gonna like die, or we're gonna be happier doing this thing. And I think the answer to that is no.
Right. I would argue that our biology does not have as much of an effect on the things that we choose to do with our careers, with our life choices as you think it does.
Mhm.
Our closest ancestors are chimps and bonobos. Bonobos are matriarchal, chimps are patriarchal. So, and our previous societies have run egalitarian for millennia. It's not been this inherent desire for men to rule a certain way and women to rule another way. It has been egalitarian, it's been patriarchal because there are things that go into affect like your situation or personality that make you better at doing something than just your biology. I know many quiet, nerdy men that would not be good leaders, and I know many strong women, and vice versa. Like it does not matter. It's based your testosterone, the hormones you emit, is not going
What
to.
the hell is she talking about?
I think it does.
I totally think it does, and so that's why I was getting back to college, since I'm assuming you support women going to college.
Yeah.
Can you explain why there is, when they can freely choose, why there is such a difference in the majors that women choose versus the majors that men choose when they get to college?
Well, I think it's also important to note that things are changing, and there's like many initiatives to get more women into STEM, to get women into higher paying career fields. When women have been kept out of these fields for so long, it's a slow and steady race to get them there. It's not.
The reason is because both men and women told women that you just need to go to college and get that piece of paper. They wanted to control women. Both genders want to control women. And there have been plenty of people that try to tell them, listen, you can go do what you want. But at the same point, you've got to balance yourself out. Stop listening to one side, consume everything, then make your decision. It's the same thing when it happened, when they were telling women, oh, you gotta be treated like a princess and all this. You got to earn that. Your mama earned it, that's why she a queen. You got to start from the bottom. You women, not saying her, but you women wanted to bypass the princess stage to the queen stage because you saw the reward and you put in no work.
That women are not choosing them. They're slowly learning that they side, agree with the movement.
But she still is. But I'm the feminist in college. Hey, that feminism does not leave your body. So I say, y'all always gotta listen. Don't hear. Listen to what they say.
Because you don't have the family yet. So when they make these arguments that you're making, you think that that's real. You think, oh, well, it's just because you're not giving the child the Barbie doll that they don't love Barbie dolls. And that's not a reality. We are just quite literally different.
There are many.
I'm so sorry. Time is up. I am going to choose Jenny to have a further conversation with because I thought that it was a respectful dialogue and I want.
No, we good. Alright. Where's that? I gotta give the queen some credit. She held her own. I gotta give it to her. You know, a lot of the shit she was saying contradicts how she's been moving, but you know, we'll give the queen this. Mm, mm. This rebrand, this is what, rebrand 3.0? Mm. Alright. I'm still waiting for the day she go after Laura Loomer and they actually sit down and have a conversation. We really gonna riff off that contest. But anyway. What's time is it? 10:20. I'm gonna go finish watching Monday Night Raw. I figured I'd just bring y'all this so we don't have to wait till Wednesday. I'm gonna save that for Dinesh D'Souza versus Nick Fuentes. I think that's what I'm going to do.
And then we're gonna get back into tomorrow, what I should have talked about today, how liberals and conservatives are against the American people. So join us tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. We're gonna talk about that. But anyway, hopefully you learned something. If you did, done my job. If not, I try to do better next time. Y'all take care, stay safe. You know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.